Let's review the difference in Climate Studio between an architectural, a daylighting, and a thermal analysis model. So here's an architectural model. So whatever I'm thinking about designing from our architectural project. This is, by the way, the example I used in exercise 2. It's a little house. Then I copied and pasted these layers to create a daylighting model in exactly this, occupying exactly the same space. These opaque surfaces became um, had materials applied to them, and then now they are reflecting and absorbing sun at different amounts based on their material properties. Also inside, reflecting whatever sun comes inside. I have a work plane that I set, and my windows are single surfaces that I place somewhere in since this wall has a volume to it, I can place it anywhere I want to in a punched opening, in an opening in the thermal envelope. And then then this is ready to run as a daylighting analysis. Thermal analysis, once again, I'm using my architectural design as the basis of it. The difference with thermal models, though, is that um, they are polysurfaces. Uh, you use polysurfaces without volume or without thickness to create thermal zones. And a thermal zone is simply just a volume of air that you're separating from other volumes of air. And so if we go and look at um, the makeup of these zones, I didn't name these. I don't know why at this point. It's better to name these. I'll just do it right now. I know that's a bedroom. I'm going to name this bedroom. But each zone then that I create is going to have a bunch of different features inside of it, and these are automatically created when I create a thermal zone. So I've got an exterior floor, I've got a partition, which is basically a surface that's separating this thermal zone from another interior zone. So those are partitions, and then this is a facade because it's outside. There's exterior, there's air from the climate touching the wall, so that's called a facade. And then these windows are planar surfaces that are coplanar with another surface. So, for example, this facade, these windows are coplanar with it. So these have no volume. They're not. If we go back, remind ourselves. If we go back to our architecture has a thickness. If I were to create, if I were to select, let me go back to this um, polysurface and make it a zone, I'd be saying what's happening for the people living inside this wall. What are they experiencing in terms of temperature and other, how is heat being moved through it, and the other variables that we control in a thermal analysis. So that doesn't make any sense. We need it to be the full that we're creating a volume of air. So let's just do one quickly. So to pull this full circle, if I want to make a zone, I can just make an extrusion. And that now is a polysurface that I can, if I select it and hit zone, pick whatever template I want that defines all the variables, I now have a zone down here. Just put test so we know which one we're talking about. Close this one. Um, and so I could run a thermal analysis on that. And let's look at this zone. Um, we have, go back to the wireframe, by the way, is how we look at what's on in the thermal model. Um, I have facades, right? These are because they're touching, these are surfaces touching the exterior. I have an exterior floor and a roof. So that was all created automatically when I created the zone. If I come back and say, okay, now I want to put a window on here, just different ways of doing this. So this is a quick way. I'll just leave it right there. Let me make that into a planar surface. Has to be a surface. Now, if I want to make that a window, turn it into a window by hitting, didn't work because I didn't pick the actual surface. I want to add or edit a window. I'd say what kind, what properties I want it to have, and now I have a window. And the window shows up automatically in the zone, and it puts it on, of course, within the facade that inside of this facade is this window. All right, so they're very simple to make. They're just different than daylighting. Make sure that you understand the difference, and that's why you really want to have a very organized layer infrastructure for your models to keep this all very clear.